guys, welcome back to my channel. Opayemi here, and you're welcome to Opayemi's Corner. On this channel I make videos on medicine, lifestyle and all that good stuff. If you've got any video requests or anything that you'd like me to speak on, guys, just let me know in the comment section and I will try my best to make that video for you. So in today's video I'm just going to be talking quickly about like my job hunting experience as a doctor in the UK. As you guys know, if you are a doctor, like an international medical graduate, and you've done the licensing exams and you're now GMC qualified, licensed, you can search for jobs in the UK from your home country. And I'm just here to speak on, my journey and shed bits and pieces about that in like previous videos here and there. But I'm just going to go in depth, and my, goal of sharing this video is just so that you can encourage people who might be going through similar, or people who just want to have a better understanding of how the process works, and just to help you understand the reality, but also know that no two people have the same experience. For some people it's happened faster, and for some people it's been as long as mine was. So it's just kind of put like a balance to the experience basically, and I'm just sharing my own story with you guys. So just for context and a bit of background, I'm a medical doctor, qualified, trained in Nigeria. I finished medical school from Babcock University in 2019, and in 2019 up until 2020 I did my internship in OOUTH Nigeria, and then in 2020 December I did my IELTS. 2021 I did my PLAB 1. So I did my PLAB 2 in 2022 July. The result came out in August of 2022, and I became licensed in September of 2022. So, very happy moment to see that, all of the hard work over the last few years have paid out. Or I've paid off, so it was really, really good. I started job hunting as soon as I got my license. I think I'd even done like a few applications before I got my license, because I had been told that, as long as you've passed, you can actually start. Just let them know you're still waiting for your license. So yeah, I started the job hunting process, put out a few applications, but nothing really until the license came. Once the license came, I felt like the world was my oyster, that the jobs were just gonna come like this, which, to be fair, is because I didn't fully understand what was beginning to happen, because things are beginning to get more saturated. So yeah, I started putting out a few applications here and there, got a few friends and people who had gone ahead of me to like look at my CV and tell me things that I needed to correct, things I needed to work on, and things I needed to, basically structure better, like the wordings and stuff like that. So I had, people who did that for me, who told me, you need to do this better, do that better, and all that stuff. So it was good having people just check what I had done. I started putting out applications, but nothing was coming through. I was still in the UK at the time, so I also did like a 2-3 weeks clinical attachment in a GP practice, put that in my CV, hopeful that once anybody sees this, it's automatic, come and get this job, right? So yeah, I was doing applications here and there, nothing came. Eventually had to leave the UK. I also thought being in the UK was going to make things better, but because I think at the time, if you are in the UK, you can just change your visa from visitor's visa to skilled workers visa. I don't know if you can still do that anymore. But yeah, that didn't change anything in my case at the time. So I traveled back to Nigeria, still kept on doing applications. In the early stage as well, I had heard of NES, RMO, which are private jobs, unlike NHS. NHS is government. So I heard of NES, RMO. I also had applied, but I didn't go far because they specifically wanted 6 months of continuous surgical experience, and I didn't have that. Because at the time I'd only done my internship and NYSC, and for NYSC I worked in like a primary care setting. So I traveled back home, and thankfully I got my first interview. I was super excited because it was an A&E role, and I had also heard that their BAME community there was really good, that they had like a lot of ethnic minorities, and they were very open to IMGs. I was really excited, honestly, and I was really looking forward to doing the interview. Had high hopes of getting the job as well. And guys, guess what? The interview was a no-show. I'm not sure what happened up till today, because I reached out to the HR, reached out to the consultant, but I didn't get any responses, and I really don't know what happened. So that was literally like a blow, because I was coming from being hopeful that I got an interview to not doing the interview and to not having a job. So after that happened, I just kind of took a step back from applications, because that really got me very tired and frustrated, and this was still in 2022, right? So I had heard about MSRA and how you can just do the MSRA and get into training straight away. So I decided to give that a shot, and I registered for MSRA. And also, side note, in case you're considering doing that, they're going to open applications up, I believe, between November and December. So if you want to give the MSRA a shot, you should definitely look out for that. It's usually on the Oriel website. I'm going to pop it up on the screen so you can look out for that. So yeah, I took the MSRA, I passed. And if you guys know how MSRA works, once you pass, you can become ranked, which makes you eligible to get an offer. But your rank will determine how, like, they move through the ranks. So your rank will determine how soon you get an offer. And guys, the whole process finished. I didn't get an offer, unfortunately. So, and the time when I did the MSRA, I became very hopeful that, oh, MSRA will work out. But to be fair, when I saw my score in March, I figured that it might not be high enough to secure me an offer, even though I passed the cutoff. So I kind of started applying back again, and I picked things up. I had friends who looked through my CV, had friends who were very helpful with the application process. God bless all of you guys. But yeah, nothing still came through. I did well over 100 applications. And for my applications, I mostly use Track. I did maybe like a few here and there, like 1 or 2 on Better NHS, but nothing much. And I never really went on NHS Scotland. I don't know why, but I think the 1 or 2 lives I tried, there were not much jobs that I could apply for. So I just never really went back. So it was mostly Track. And I did this thing with Track where you get like notifications once there are new jobs, and then they let you know and you can just go straight on and apply. So that was what was going on. No, I did well over 100 applications. Nothing came through. So I have a friend who did house job together. He was also one of those people who were like, yeah, you need to do plow when we're doing house job. And he works where I work at the minute. And, he sent me the link to apply for a job opening that they had in A&E. And I remember, I didn't apply the first time he sent to me, because at this time, again, I was tired. And I was just like, I'm over all of this. And I remember my parents would keep on encouraging me, like, just keep trying. Everybody would say, just keep trying, keep applying. It was like, I am trying, but nothing's coming up. And like, it was one of those things I didn't even want people asking me anymore, because it's like, if you ask me, I don't have any new updates. So please don't ask me. It was just, it decided to become a pain point, because it's like, I've been hopeful, but nothing's happening. But yeah, so eventually, I didn't apply for the job he sent to me. Then he sent me another one again. I believe it was in June of 2023 for the same job. Like, they opened up another one. And I remember thinking, well, I had a look. They wanted UK experience. And I said to him, there's no UK experience. I don't have UK experience. It's one of the things they're asking for. I don't see the point of applying. And then he goes, you know what, just try, just apply. You never know, NHS needs doctors, like everybody's always saying, NHS needs doctors, so just keep on applying. So I'm like, okay, cool, just so that it doesn't become a case of he asks me again and I say, oh, I didn't apply. So fine, I put in an application, and I did it just the day it was closing. And then it was like, it's fine, don't worry, be hopeful. I also just like, talk to my concerned, let her know that, oh, I have someone who's applied and all that stuff. So that's what happened, guys. I literally put the application on the day it closed. I didn't have NHS experience. It was one of those jobs as well, because it was not on Track, it was on Better NHS. And if you know Better NHS, you don't even get to write as many things per se as Track. But I tried my best, I put my best foot forward. I, talked about what I was currently doing, because thankfully I was working in internal medicine, which afforded me, seeing a lot of cases. Majority of the patients we would see would be like the cases in A&E that are coming newly to the hospital. And because it was a tertiary hospital as well, my experience was very well-rounded, which is one of the reasons why I took that job in particular, because I knew that it would be good for my CV, right? So I, put it in, didn't think too much of it, but thankfully I got invited for an interview. And, told my friend, and was like, don't worry, you will get it. And I was just like, after all, your hope, your faith, the faith that you have is even more than me, that is even more than the faith I have. So I remember the wait between the time when they invited me for the interview to the actual interview day was about 2 weeks. And the day where I was supposed to do the interview, I was supposed to do a call. I was supposed to be on call that evening, but I had to do a swap. Thankfully, a colleague agreed to swap with me. So we swapped days. And I went for the interview. I remember doing an interview in my pastor's office in Babcock. Shout out to Pastor Shegun. And it was so much jitters, so much fear. I tried to study, read as much as I could, prepare as much as I could. And then I joined a few minutes earlier because, I wanted to just be settled before they would join in. So I joined, and then they joined in and they were like, oh, we're going to start a few minutes earlier. I hope that's fine. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. It's okay. So we started the interview. I had no clinical question. I think the closest question I had to a clinical question was that they asked me, oh, if you have a patient who has had a paracetamol overdose and must leave the department, how are you going to handle that? So it wasn't even clinical. It wasn't like, oh, talk about acetylcysteine or anything like that. It was more like ethical. So those were the majority of my questions, like ethics and stuff. And then the interview ended. I had 2 consultants who were my interviewers. They were the only ones there. And it went very, very fast. Like, I don't think it was supposed to be 30 minutes. I don't think it spanned over 30 minutes. I remember calling my dad when I was like, oh, I'm done. And I was like, oh, it's not even up to the time we thought it would be. And like, yeah, I started earlier and he actually finished earlier. And I remember finishing and just having conviction in my spirit that I was going to get the job. But with all of the months and months and months and months of searching, I was weary, to be honest. Like, I was weary. So yeah, I think the interview was on a Wednesday, and I remember on Friday I was talking to my friend Baby on the phone, and we're just like talking about like the interview and everything, and still talking about, oh, I'm still waiting to hear back from them, and she's like, oh, don't worry, blah blah blah. And we get off the call, and that day, because work closes by 1 on Friday where I used to work, and I remember it was before 1, I got the email to say, oh, we would like to work with you, or I mean, I don't know if that's how it was said, but I basically got the email to say, we'd like to offer you the job. And it was very surreal because this is months and months and months and months of hoping and searching and being expectant and nothing happening. And like, yeah, it's happening finally. So I remember calling my parents, calling them like, hey, I got the job. So yes, guys, I got the job. I currently work, which I've shared with you guys before. I work in the A&E as a trust grade doctor, clinical fellow, whichever you want to call it. I have a video coming out soon as well on the UK doctor titles, just so that you can properly understand if you're like a new doctor coming in. I digress. So yeah, I called everyone. So I got the job in August of 2023. I'm a Christian, so that's what I'm sharing a lot about, like the role that God played in, getting the job and calming my weary heart at the time where it got very weary as well. So yeah, and so there were things that had gone ahead of me that were making me hopeful, but I really couldn't see anything happening still. But anyways, yeah, I got the job. My COS came in September, got my visa in September, and I finally moved in October. And guys, I just thank God, because now I started my work in November. I'm counting down to 1 year. And to the glory of God as well, my contract has been renewed for another year. I've gotten my visa extension, and it's just been God because it's been 1 year of being settled, learning the system, learning the process. Yeah. So that's the whole story, guys. So I hope that this encourages anyone who is in that process of job hunting, hoping to get a job. I hope that this encourages you. Some people are fortunate enough to have better experiences. And the funny thing, guys, all of us who resumed at the time when I resumed to this job, remember I said that UK experience was highlighted in the criteria. None of us, at least all 5 of us who resumed together, all of us were IMGs from different countries. So sometimes as well, if you see that job that has UK experience, I know that sometimes we're trying to manage what we apply for. So we manage the breakfast we get. And when I say breakfast, for those who don't understand it, it's Nigerian way of saying disappointment. So I would say sometimes you can still shoot your shot and be hopeful. And yeah, that's basically my story on my job hunting process and how I got my job and how I did like 100 plus applications before I got this job. And I know that when people say, oh, keep applying, it sounds annoying, because I started to get upset as well when people kept on telling me keep applying. Like, you guys know I've been applying, so what do you mean, right? But that's literally the only thing that you can do, to be honest. Like, you actually need to keep applying and keep putting your best foot forward and just keep on applying as much as you can. And yeah, your job will come, you will testify. And if you're still like writing plab, don't let all of this scare you. Just take it one step at a time. And as that mountain comes, you would cross it and you will get your job as well. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and Also, guys, can you see this is the first sit down video with the new camera? If this one goes up first, but yeah, because I'm trying to batch film today. But anyways, guys, I will see you later. Bye.